Alrighty, welcome to tutorial number 7, I believe. In the last couple of tutorials, we went over setting up groups, and now we're going to move on to some other stuff. However, I did realize that I forgot to do something here in the members list for a group. I forgot to set the visibility to hide the authenticated user, so we definitely want to do that. And again, best way that I found to do that is to do a single condition and then grab my group member list item, which would be the user, and leave that alone and set that to not equal to authenticated user. So wanted to take care of that before moving on, so it should be good to go there. All right, so let's see here. Let's go back over to the user dashboard. Actually, let's go ahead and set up the edit functionality for a group so that we can get that out of the way. So I think what I want to do here is I'm gonna use one of the pre-made pages that they have. We're gonna choose one that's kind of like a dashboard. Use this one. Okay, let's get rid of that app bar since it's all messed up. I'm gonna put a different app bar in there. And then let's grab moderate group and toss it under our groups folder. And let's go back to our dashboard and go ahead and set this button here. Or I'm sorry, this one for editing. And that'll be a navigate to moderate group. Just do a slide left on it. And then of course we want to pass the group parameter in there. Okay, so now we can go back to the moderate group page over here. And of course, as always, I want to kind of change some of this around, make it more fitting to what I'm doing here. And then I think for the page title, I'll drop that down to 16. Actually, it's a little small. Let's do 18. And then I'm going to, first of all, I need to query that group real quick. Okay. And then I'm going to do combine text. And put the group name in here. That way a moderator can quickly reference what group they are editing. Okay, that'll work. I'm going to get rid of this. Not planning to use that. I do want to drop this down some more. And I'm going to make that a little smaller. And let's just do, for a reference point, it's kind of interesting that that text field is way down there. Huh. Let's see if we can get that. Seems like everything's really blown up for some reason. I don't really know what's going on here. There we go. All right, so we'll adjust all that in just a second. So I think what I'm gonna do here, I wanna change this to be consistent. And then I'm going to change this one. Let's do, I actually like the outline better. Okay. I don't know if this is how I want to do this. I had an idea, but now I'm reconsidering if that's really what I want to do here. Not overly pleased with. Yeah, let's do that. It's still way too big. Yeah, it's sufficient for what I'm doing. I would do that way differently if I was actually building an app, but I'm not gonna harp on that for very long here, so I'm not worried about that. All right, and I'm gonna set the elevation. And then I'm going to downsize that quite a bit. And we'll change this to members. Okay, and then I want to set the number of members here. Oops, not list contains. Number of items. And since this box is contained and does not grow, we will set auto size to it. I left that at 36. I'll just make that 36, I guess. Okay, that'll work. And then we'll do bold on that one too. Okay. And then let's see here. I think I want to do moderators as well. What did I set that to? 18. I'm going to have a reference point of moderators for the group admin. And then that will be set to the moderator's reference. And we'll do some bold. And okay, that'll work. Okay, so on second thought, I am going to do something different here. I don't really like this, so I'm going to move this way down here and kind of get out of my way for a second. And then I'm going to do a stack up here. And I'm gonna leave that there, and then I'm going to do an image. I'll set that to infinite, and I will move this down some. And then on that stack, I'm going to add an icon, a button icon. And I'm going to move that sucker all the way over to the right. And we'll do a fill color and a translucent black. And we don't really want much of a radius. We'll do 8. We'll do that as 26. And then we'll do an upload icon to indicate that they can change their photo for their group. All right, so that's how we're going to do that. And we're going to set this as the group's image, cache it, and then we'll do an upload action. Firebase. Allow photo. We're going to do gallery only. Show snack bar. And okay, and then we'll do an update action on the group. To change the photo. So that. Okay. So that'll work. That's how we'll have that set up. And then I'm going to go in here. I'm actually going to use this. And we're just going to like set this to maybe 10. And then we will set this as the set that as the group name, actually. We'll do group title. And then in this row, we're going to do a icon button here. And drop that down some. And we'll set an edit next to it. I actually kind of want that a little smaller. This a little smaller. Okay. So that'll work. I think that looks pretty good there. All right, and then I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to, let's see here, I want to do a similar function here for my, no, I don't want it that high or that, let's see here. Let's do 4, and let's get rid of that altogether. And then we can do the group about. Oops. Let's get rid of that entirely here. Come on. Okay, do the group about there, and we can make that smaller if we'd like to. And then let's expand it. Take up the full width there, and it'll go downward. All right, so I'm actually going to get rid of that. Don't want that there. And get rid of this too. And then lastly, I am going to do a list. I want to do it from here though. And that is going to be group posts for that group. So I'm going to go over here. This will be fine. And grab that and just copy it. and then go back to my moderate group and drop that in here. And then double check. Oops. No, that's right. Let's view. Query collection posts, list of documents, and then group reference equal to the group that we're working in. And then order by. Okay, that'll work. Again, I'm not going to worry about any of that right now. And let's see if our reference here is still, no, okay. Oops. Oh, nope, no, I was in the wrong spot. There we go. All that should be right. Okay. This may need to be adjusted. Yep. Date created. Relative content will have to be added back in here. So all this stuff will have to be added back in here. I'm honestly not going to go through and do that on the video. You've seen me do it 3 or 4 times now, so I'll make those adjustments later. But anyway, I want the feed to be in here in the moderation panel, and I do want to add in something here. Let's see here. Let's go up here and let's grab a button. Now this is not going to do what I want it to do here. No, it's not. Let's just get rid of it there and just put it down here instead. And I think I'll just set it as a delete. No, that's not what I want. Yeah. Set it as a delete so they can delete it if for some reason it needs to be removed from the group. Yeah, that's right. I'm not getting that user's information here. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. Okay. And then, of course, if they confirm, then we'll do a delete on that. And something else that I've been wanting to do, but just haven't done it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm actually going to copy that and delete it, and I'm going to add an action. And I'm going to do haptic feedback, so it kind of alerts them that they're about to do something. Actually, we'll do vibrate. There we go. Okay, so that'll work. So then they can delete that post if they need to. And then everything else, I'm just going to leave the way it is. All right, so now what we need to do, is we need to set up, I am going to get rid of that while I'm thinking about it. I don't want it to direct to their profile from there. So now we need to set up an edit for group title and edit for about. You know, a million different ways you can do that. And need to set up a moderation for members and a moderation for moderators. So I think first I'm just going to do it with a bottom sheet. It'll be the easiest. So we'll just do a bottom sheet. We'll grab it there. Let's go back real quick. Oops, too far down. Bottom sheet. And I'm going to stick this thing up here. Well, I don't want to do that. No. Just do it at 30%. Do non-dismissible on it. Oops. Okay. And now we can go over here to the let's see here, edit group. Edit group name. Put that in there. And get rid of that entirely, and then we're going to query that reference. Okay, and then I'm actually going to make that smaller here. Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to center it. Put a group title in there. I guess I'll set my width here to 80%. And then we are going to set our initial value to the group's title as it currently is. I'm going to center the text here. Okay. And set a label. And we'll leave autofocus alone. It's 12 on our border. Do a border color. 2. Oops. Where's it at? There it is. Okay. That'll work. And then they can type in a new group title if they want to. I know this is kind of rudimentary how this looks and everything, but I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on designing that. And then you can just do a save button here. And I guess I'll just leave it in the middle. That looks all right. That'll work for what we're trying to do here. Set an elevation of 1. Okay. That will work. And then we want to, you know what, I want to do a column inside that column. I want to group these two things. Come on now. Come on. I want to group those together. And then I want to do this. And then we'll shoot this thing over to the right, and we'll pull it in some. And we'll set that as a dismiss bottom sheet. Keep going too far down. Okay, that'll work. But I think I will, instead of doing it that way, I'm actually gonna bring that up all the way to the top there. There we go. And then for save, we will do an update on the group. And we'll change the group title. To the widget state, and then after it saves, then we'll do a bottom sheet dismiss. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so that'll update our group title then. And then the about me, or the about group, actually, I'm just going to go back over here to edit group name, and I'm just going to duplicate this. And that way we can just make changes in here. And I believe I did 3 lines. It's the max when I set that up on the other side. Do you want to put that back over there? And then we want to change this to a multi-line. Okay, that should work. And then of course we want to edit our save. All right, there we go. So that, however, we do need to make sure we do this. Make sure we're actually passing the group parameter to it. And non-dismissible. Okay, there we go. So that's taken care of. So next up, we need to set up member moderation for a group and moderator moderation for a group so that we can plug those things in there. So for members, I guess I could just do a bottom sheet. Probably be easiest. Yeah. That'd probably be simplest for doing that. So